Nocturne to dive in, whether it's things, you know, like the Kaiser, if that ever ends up going through. In this case, it's not going to. Whether it's Rakan, whether it's, you know, something like Ornn, again, which I feel like if you play Nocturne, draft Ornn next to it. Like, it is one of the most obnoxious combos in the game. So we'll see whether or not LNG adapt, right, and move more towards, you know, heavier dive comps if they still want to play with this Nocturne, or whether or not they look for an entirely different flavor in this Game 2 draft, as we're already through the picks and bans, and if I recall correctly, same set of bans immediately from both teams, but this time from LNG, it's the Maokai first pick over the Jace.
I like this adaptation because, again, Weiwei was able to just kind of stop a lot of follow-up, so everyone was kind of in isolated things. We saw so many times that a headbutt pulverized from the Alistar just left him in a 3v1, so he was kind of going, well, crap, I don't really have much else to do here. And again, I'm still loving this from Weibo. Give these solo laners things that they can be safe on. Give the Shy something that he's just not going to be put under huge amounts of pressure, or if he is, they're going to have to throw in more and more resources to make that pressure really give, you know, any fruit.
Yeah, exactly. And now if you want to go towards, you know, Renekton and Jace, it doesn't feel as bad, right? You've got a jungler who's very capable of playing multiple ways, whether it's dive, whether it's peel. He's kind of geared towards doing anything. Zeka, though, potentially wants to move away from the Renekton, and he's going to give it a go at this Gwen. You know, much more difficult lane matchup for the K'Sante to deal with. So we'll see how the Shy handles it as the Jace goes alongside it. And Weibo looking to eye up a Vi, or at the very least something that's going to be very confirmed lockdown in terms of a jungle pick, and it will be just that. So both sides, top sides locked in. And now it's about these bottom lane picks yet again.
The Vi did get banned in the second round as well. It's kind of one of those things that's still very, very powerful. Has been taking a couple of small little hits here and there as we moved in towards our playoffs, but still exceptionally powerful jungler in her own right. And then Weibo got to figure out where they want to try and take these next few bans. Honestly, I don't think they'd have a problem just keep throwing in bans into that either support or AD carry role, just because they know that they kind of had the runaround of Gala and Hong in that last one, but... Ooh, I'm not going to confirm that just yet. I'm not quite sure if that is actually a non-ban, but we'll get to that one there beforehand. But regardless, we'll see what Weibo want to try and pick up before the kind of, you know, the last pick. I imagine they're going to go AD carry with a support as their last pick.
Yeah, so we have not had anything on our end to indicate to us that that was or was not intentional. So we'll let you know as soon as we know. But for now, LNG will remove away the Rakan. Makes a lot of sense. You've got Vi there. Take away one of those, you know, supports which very freely dives alongside it. I wonder if they're also going to go with the Leona ban, considering how strong it looked for Crisp and, you know, the fact that these engage supports are being limited quite heavily. And now that they've seen it, and obviously Crisp is very adept at it anyway, it just makes the most sense to remove away to keep the support pool as, you know, neutral and a little bit closer to, you know, the enchantment pool as possible.
Keep it as close as you possibly can. Nautilus gets banned away here. We might even see a Braum ban. No, the Neela ban coming out here for the side of LNG. So they're kind of recognizing there's a lot of kind of teamfight all-in potential available here for Weibo, and they don't want an AD carry that can enable that as well if they are going to see the Leona locked in, which we almost certainly will see, because again, Crisp had a fantastic time of it in game number 1.
Yeah, definitely did. Now, what I will say is that if this Leona does go through, the Braum value kind of flies through the roof, because you're already looking at something like the Vi going in, right? If Leona wants to go in as well, you've got Maokai, you've got Braum, and you could end up with Gala on something, even if it's, you know, maybe not necessarily as ideal on this patch like the Aphelios, which can tear through diving frontliners on occasion. Or, yeah, again, you know, Varus can kind of offer the same kind of deal, but just in a lot more mixed burst damage, right? I feel like LNG will sit really comfortably. So if this is just a Varus plus Braum rotation, I feel like the LNG bottom lane should feel really confident in almost any 2v2 that they can feel like. So let's see whether or not they lean on that, or whether or not it's just going to be another Alistar for Hung. He's only played one Braum game this season long, so it seems like it will just be that Alistar, a lot more comfort for him there.
Yeah, Alistar does do a kind of a very good job of just kind of disengaging, even if the Vi wants to try and come in there. As man's confident. Man's confident in his team. He doesn't even need to look at pick and ban right now. The Zeri coming back in here for light, and not getting 100% confirmation as to why that ban did not go through, but we have been confirmed that it was a non-ban here from Weibo, so they ran out of time, or they just didn't get the right champion and whatever. These things happen. It is the kind of the nature of live gameplay, so they do lose that ban, unfortunately for them. And again, it could have been a Varus ban, could have meant an Alistar ban. Little things like this that can make the difference. We'll see if it ends up making a huge kind of, you know, change up here for either of these sides. But I am curious to see what Zika does with this Gwen now in this top side, able to kind of know that the Shy going towards this early Cassante has got himself a lane matchup he can put pressure here into.
Yeah, exactly, right? So the Shy gonna have to put on a little bit of a big performance in the early stages specifically, right? At that level 6 mark, when things can get a little bit awkward for you, that's when, you know, the 1 versus 1 is most volatile. Zeka should have the upper hand in it. So I do anticipate a lot of blood up there. But again, this mid lane matchup, as Xiaohu and Scout highlighted, with the same champions, I am very curious about how it's going to play out this time and what the jungle focus will be. Whether or not we're going to get another crazy crisp roam up to the mid lane at level 2 will be very, very crucial to how that mid lane matchup yet again plays out, as Xiaohu properly took control of game number 1, and we'll have to see whether or not Scout can answer in kind in game number 2.
And again, pretty similar competition coming out here from Weibo. They have swapped out the jungler and they have to deal with a Maokai rather than having it available to him. But basically, apart from jungle, it's a tit for tat compared to game number 1. But coming into the side of LNG, they are now dealing with the Maokai Jace. They are now dealing with that ever so powerful combination. We'll see what they're able to kind of go for at LNG. Not going to be too happy with knocking themselves back a peg now. They're still at square one. They haven't gotten themselves a win yet, but they're going to be looking to try and change that one. And I am glad to see someone like Gala on an AD carry. I don't think the Ziggs was the problem, but this guy just looks so much better when he's able to get things like the Varus, or even, God forbid, if ever Weibo let the Kai'Sa go through. But we're going to jump onto the Rift, and we're going to see how both these teams end up fanning out, how they try and mitigate some of these early pressures. And we'll see if maybe Chris wants to go a little bit more aggressive. I will say that Weibo, you know, maybe not going to go for such an early aggressive level 1.
Or level 2. Or 2, in the case of Chris. LNG, I feel like a lot more properly equipped to deal with the aggression that Weibo could find themselves looking for. And again, I do want to highlight Zeka on that Gwen could have a lot of impact in some of these team fights, but especially the side lane. I feel like Weibo, you know, it would pay them dividends to go up there and perhaps put down a little bit of pressure, but after the game that Xiaohu and Light both had, you wouldn't be surprised if Weiwei is fully committed to getting these guys ahead. There's a little bit of a longer load-in time, but we'll keep on holding on as game 2 slowly approaches us. LNG need to bounce back.
There it is.
There it is.
The man in the top lane. The Shy. Do you know, for the longest time, I thought he was Deshi, because people would write his name in lowercase, so they wouldn't be like T, capital T or capital S. It'd be Theshy. So I used to think it was Deshi. And then I used to say to people, I was like, oh, Teshi seems pretty good. And they were like, who? It was back in like 2017, 2018. It was a while ago. But we do have an announcement. Light reported a device problem, so we are investigating it right now. Hopefully it is nothing too serious. And again, always better to get it before we get anywhere close to actually being on the Rift. And
you know, it sucks, obviously, that we will have a very brief game delay, but better for it to happen before the game even starts. You know, you never really want to have a pause mid-game. It can, you know, throw players a little bit through a loop, right, in terms of adrenaline and just how they're feeling and what they're thinking about in the moment. So it's a good thing that they will have, you know, a little bit more time to consider early game plans, all of that good stuff. But given the camera pan, I believe.
And we're back, and the transition into graphics. Okay, we're feeling confident. We got the wipe. Oh, we're rolling. I'm pretty confident in saying we should be jumping into the Rift, and there it is. We got ourselves the device problem sorted out. We're gonna see how these two teams fan out.
No, I can tell you one thing. Everybody watching at home, my lovely friends. I feel like the Gyos themselves might be evenly matched. But that Weibo mascot is outdoing LNG's by a long shot.
I fear no Gyo, but that man, he scares me.
He might just be a machine.
It's like just like the idea of a man just screaming with that kind of power. It's always interesting as well. You don't know if the microphone's just closer to him or not, but either way, it's just powerful regardless of how you look for it. We do see LNG looking for a little bit of a movement here. They are going to find Weiwei, who is just going to now realize that He's not really in a great position to go for this.
So the idea there from Weiwei was that he was hoping that Tarzan would just start the camp up without putting the... Yeah, and he would just be able to walk in and smite. It's still going to be a 50-50, but Tarzan should win it with the Q smite. We pan down here towards the bottom side, but what's going on with that jungle camp up there? Who cares about this? It looks like it'll split 50-50, but I'm not obviously sure who got what. Either way, Tarzan is walking away level 1. Weiwei's walking away level 1 as the world's most annoying level 1 gank that you will ever see is absorbed by Xiaohu. But I feel like that works out much better for Tarzan because he's able to, you know, cross through mid. Maybe he soaked up a little bit of XP from a minion or two. Who got it? Yeah, so naturally, Tarzan got it, but then the little ones, I believe, almost all went over to Weiwei.
I think so. So, fun fact, allegedly, if it's like all of the little ones go to Weiwei and he got 2 CS, and then, or sorry, 1 CS, and then Tarzan got 2 CS for the big one, which means that nobody got 4. That does not equal 4, and I'm not quite sure how the maths works on that. But it is what it is. As you can see, they're now starting up their second camp. It's going to be on the red buffs now to try and make sure that they can get some kind of healing back, as the Vi, though very powerful, early game does struggle to keep herself nice and healthy. We'll see. Oh, Crisp. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think you want to be on that side of the exchange, and that's a little bit disconnected. A flash for flash, though, means that Crisp is able to kind of turn back that exchange in the bot side. Tarzan is still here, and Light's taking a fierce amount of damage.
Yeah, kind of surprised that Gala didn't take a step forward once Hung actually went on top of Light there, but either way, they'll be looking now. It's the coveted level 2 roam machine. Okay. Here he is. Teleport's coming in.
It's not a roam. It's just a ward.
It's just information. Okay. Well, a little bit less fun. Oh wait. Dun.
I mean, they don't know he's here. Now he does, and he's actually walking away from this one here. Just pop down the Shield of Daybreak just to try and help Xiaohu get a little bit of a trade back. But yeah, I think he realized that level 3, he's just not going to be able to do it. Or level 2, he's just not got a lot of resistances considering he went Zenith and Shield of Daybreak. But now Tarzan, maybe thinking about himself, kind of getting caught out here. He is going to be caught out, flash in with the Q, but he flashes away. One more auto attack will do. And the Emperor of Shurima, that is Xiaohu, will pick himself up a kill, but in similar fashion to game number 1, except reverse. This time there's no flash on Weiwei or on Xiaohu.
Man, I really have to say, as a Scout, he doesn't have Phase Rush.
He doesn't, but he doesn't need it. He gets the last auto, and that is double buffs with the blue, but now Xiaohu wants to try and trade them all back. It's an exchange of buffs. So Xiaohu will gladly take that double kill. He hasn't recalled yet either. He still has DP.
Now, we saw what Xiaohu did last game. Let's see what he's going to do this game with 2 kills and 30 CS at 4.5 minutes. Light, not even really going to suffer too much. In fact, he's going to pick up this entire wave, uncontested, and it's mostly solo XP. So, for Weibo, this is a really, really positive outcome. Just about every play that unfolded. Now, Tarzan, I mean, it kind of has to be said, doesn't really have much business being down here. But, you know, this is Crisp's River. He demonstrated it to us in game 1. Demonstrating it yet again to us in game number 2. Weiwei, great Q flash, and then another flash from Xiaohu to follow through. The follow-up play was just a little bit bizarre from Scout, to be honest, because he's almost always going to be trading 1-for-1, no matter what. Unless he had Phase Rush, which then maybe he walks out, but even then still, a very, very strange choice. Picks up on kill for himself, but again, Xiaohu ends up with, I believe, double buffs, 2 kills as well, so it really has to be a play which is beneficial in the near future. With Xiaohu not having flash, maybe they can pick on him as Scout.
Oh, he's going to try and run away from this one here, but I think that Xiaohu is going to be able to get over the wall should he need it. He actually jumps into him to get that slowdown. No Q available for Weiwei means that he's not able to kind of get any real CC down, but I mean, yeah. I'm all for the emboldenedness of Scout on this Jace pick, but it does feel like he's kind of in a losing battle considering Xiaohu's already got that lost chapter.
Yeah, exactly, right? And kind of comical there because Weiwei goes over the wall with the Q. He doesn't have the Q to then lock down Scout, so very fortunate that Scout, despite some, you know, what I'll describe as a little bit of a suspect positioning, won't be caught out there as level 6 is in for the top side. And this is where, like, there's a brief window where K'Sante can technically win this matchup, where it's like level 6 through maybe 8 before first item, and then after that it's just Gwen Fate, and it doesn't really get much better. So we'll see if the Shy can, you know, try his best to force out some spells from Zika, but feels like it could just end up fading. And at the end of the day, if you can neutralize Gwen, that's the, you know, you can live happy with that. You don't really have to force a play around it. As Dragon's up, and last game, all of them went over to Weibo. LNG, however, this time around, not necessarily willing to give over that much freedom to the Weibo side as they start this one up with a big wave on the bottom side crashing in, and level 6 available for Gala. They have the turn tools available if Weibo do check in to the river.
Yeah, this is the big adaptation compared to game number 1, is where LNG now have perma push into the Zeri and the Leona, so very easy for the Varus to kind of gain control in that regard. You do have a Chain of Corruption here for Gala. He's going to throw it out. It is going to land it. They want to try and make this fight work, and they are going to throw in a lot of damage. A flash over, an ignite, an auto attack, and Gala picks up a kill. When this man gets an advantage, it can be an absolute pain in the ass, and Weibo know that he's going to be getting huge very quickly.
Yeah, exactly. So, really good job from LNG to find more picks on the backside of that play. Flashes were committed though, and Weiwei should be hitting level 6 relatively soon. We'll see whether or not after the Herald exchange, because I think we all know something's going to happen at the Herald. Whether or not Weiwei has the ultimate still up and available to potentially go and punish Gala, get a little bit of gold into Light's back pocket.
Let's have a look at the replay here. And again, this is like a mistake that's just kind of not really needed, because why are you walking into this? You're never going to contest this as light and crisp.
It's one of those half-hearted moments where, you know, a team wants to get a little bit of information. Maybe they, you know, peek in. Zeri can chuck a W through either way. Top side, fight's breaking out.
It'll work. Knock back. Tarzan now gets hit by the Q and it's all out and taken all the way back on top of this one, but Tarzan still hasn't gone down just yet, and a flash forward from Zika means he's able to confirm the kill. Tarzan, how do you live? Just not going down, refusing to die. Xiaohu's just a little bit too late as Hung keeps him busy.
Yeah, a little bit awkward from Weibo's position, right? The Shy really wanted to ult Tarzan backwards out of that fight, but in doing so, he positions himself so that Zika just gets a free full stacked Q in the middle. It's pretty much one shot by it, and by the time he uses the all out, he's like 150 HP. Burns down from another flash from Zika, so good job from LNG. Weibo, however, will still pick up this Herald just because of how low Tarzan was. So end result still works out for the Weibo lineup.
It works out, but you're feeding a kill into the Gwen. That's the scarier thing about this. Again, the Rift Herald is good, but definitely don't want to be getting that happen too often. We will see the Cassante going towards that bot side, and a bit of a swapperoo of lanes. We can see that Light going to be the beneficiary, of a little bit of gold from this Rift Herald. Should be able to get 2 plates from it, as no one is really defending it. Yep, there's 2 plates going over to him. Actually gets the solo one for himself.
Yeah, not too bad. Oftentimes, 2 plates will only amount to 175 gold. It's a split between the jungler and whoever is there, but in that case, works out wonderfully as we get the pro view here. So they had full information, of course, that the Vi was on the way. Remember, level 5 to level 6 of Navai kind of just makes this fight one where, yeah, realistically, Tarzan had no business winning. But again, you can see there, by the way that the Shy positions, gives himself up to a, you know, very full stacked Q from the Gwen, and able to walk out on 1 HP. Tarzan with a very well-timed flash.
I also just noticed as well his W like cancelled out the ultimate from Vi. Weiwei wasn't able actually to get the damage out there because it cancelled the channel of it. I didn't even notice it right until the end there. So
I didn't even catch it in the replay either.
I like gasped. I was like, oh my lord. And that's literally the whole reason he stays alive. It's why they're not able to kind of go for it, because it actually stops Weiwei from getting even closer as well, because it stops the channel. Really, I don't know if it was intentional. If it's Tarzan, I tend to believe it is, but really well done there by the LNG jungler if it was. And gets himself back out onto the map now to try and make something happen. Has a full top side to clear as waves are going to be pushed in. This is the thing, when you're making so many plays around so many different parts of the map, you can start to see plates pretty much on either side just kind of getting melted down just because you're giving a couple of seconds free to people just to kind of wail on those turrets.
Exactly. Gala's had pretty good time of it on the bottom side. In fact, it's actually going lethality Varus this game. So curious to see how that one works out for him. This time around, Xiaohu also doesn't have the crown. He's gone towards the Liandry, so a lot more focused on burning through the health bars. Specifically, of course, those frontliners, but just looking at a little bit more flat damage over time compared to what the crown can offer you in terms of a little bit of safety if you're being dove, or if perhaps you're the one doing the diving. As speaking of, moving up towards the top side, looking for a play onto Zika. Remember, no flash from earlier on. Very slow chase down, but Xiaohu's on the way.
Xiaohu is on the way. There is no flash here for Zika. I think he recognizes now with a TP and Tarzan. This is a 3v3, and I don't think you want any of this smoke here, Weibo. We're going to see an immediate of Emperor's Divide, though, as Scout gets sacrificed straight away. The Shy gets hit by a little bit of a sapling. Will be snipped down to almost dead, but hasn't gone down just yet, which means that Tarzan can't really escape either, and he gets taken out. It's a 2-for-1 trade in favor of Weibo, as they just back themselves in their solo lane to make sure to come out on top of that trade.
Yeah, okay. Weibo really did a good job at disengaging, but then also just having very solid and quick decision-making around the target selection. Blow up Scout as he comes out of the teleport. Don't let him move, and the Shy buys all the time necessary to then pick up the extra kill onto Tarzan. So really well played from Weibo, and LNG do their best in what's a bit of an awkward situation. But Zika, again, does pick up another kill, and that's going to always be a bit of a concern, likely in the back of the minds of Weibo, that this Gwen could potentially scale up and be a little bit of a monster. Side lane, team fight collapse is always going to be a very scary thing, as second dragon of the game is up. I do wonder whether or not Weibo are going to be willing to full contest, but with no teleport on the Shy and Zika having his, all this priority being earned yet again by LNG, it does look like this objective will just go over with very little contest here, as even Weiwei signals to us with that recall that he will be going back to base, and doesn't seem like there will be a contest at all.
No, look, they've got decent vision, but it's more just to confirm that there are plenty of LNG people here to make sure that they cannot go in for a fight. But I will say, I mean, someone we got to highlight just absolutely, you know, kind of stepping up in this playoffs of Summer 2023. Xiaohu has really been good at just making sure he knows exactly what's going for. And even here, he could go onto the Gwen, but he says, no, I'm going to focus here straight onto Scout because I know that if I can kill him off, they don't have the damage.
Yeah, great chain CC as well. You know, really does offer very little opportunity for a flash out from Scout. And again, chase down very easy. The Shy is buying a lot of time and space by kind of, you know, global taunting the LNG members to come and pick him up because he's on that 1 HP. Great stuff. And yeah, like you say, Xiaohu, very, very solid playoff so far. And for Weibo, you know, it was not that long ago, spring playoffs, where it wasn't necessarily the finish they were hoping for. Of course, that was right at the start of BLG's, I don't know, what do you call it? I wouldn't even use the word resurgence, but resurgence up. Renaissance, yeah. Right up into the top echelons of the LPL. Claimed by who is now the first place regular season team of Summer. Would really like to punch up into LNG and book themselves a match against JDG. This lower side of the double elimination bracket could be off the back of that man Xiaohu.
Do you think this is going way too deep into meme narrative as such like that, but do you think that Xiaohu sacrificed his Emperor of Spring kind of powers for Summer? Do you think he did that? Do you think he was just like, you know what? I'm sick of winning MSI. I'm sick of not having a good Worlds and good Summer tournament. I will sacrifice Spring in order to have a better Summer. And I think I take that trade, man. I take that trade any day of the week.
It's an evolution, you know. Unless, you know, we equate it to like Dragon Ball, for example. He went out there. The new main antagonist was BLG, and they got their butt kicked. And then since then, Saga. It's the Cell Saga, right? You know, it's I've got it. It's Vegeta versus second form Cell, and it's like, yeah, go ahead, go into perfect form, go ahead, do it. And then he proceeds to just get completely backhanded, and now it's, you know, it's time chamber, it's all that extra training, and we'll see whether or not for Weibo can be the case where they can continue to reach up. For now, though, still right in front of them is LNG. They have to take them down first before they can have a shot at proving themselves against one of the top two here in the LPL.
The thing is, you're going with double lethality as well on the side of LNG, which is going to force Tarzan into a much more AP-heavy build. Well, not actually, never mind. You don't have to go with full AP because you do have the Gwen, but it does mean that you are putting in a lot of kind of mid-game power. If this game goes later, like things like the Vi, the Cassante, the Leona, like we saw in game number 1, will be able to kind of secure themselves plenty of HP. Scout just kind of peppering a bit of damage here onto the Shias. top side and mid upwards, to be perfectly honest, is owned by LNG, and they can pick themselves up a very easy Rift-Held and Tower. The Shy now getting jumped on here and burned down quite a bit, forced to flash away, but the needlework is doing work. Doesn't hit the last one, but over the wall, here comes the ball. And you don't want to mess with the horns as LNG get themselves another kill onto the Shy, and Xiaohu is saying, don't care, got myself a tower take.
Yeah, so the cross-map for Weibo is picking up this tower, but at the end of the day, LNG find a kill and the tower as well. Looked a little bit awkward once that final needlework from Zuko flew a little bit wide, but Hung was there to pick up the pieces and they secure the kill that they came looking for on the back end of the play. So for Weibo, more gold goes into their strong member. I'm not necessarily too upset about it, but it does always make me a little bit concerned, right? It's just one member with a majority of the gold on the side of Weibo. It does mean that if Xiaohu is ever caught out, all of a sudden, you know, for the side of WBG, they're basically just going to have their pants down for the rest of the fight. The damage that will be up on offer will be relatively limited, so they do want to, you know, try and find a little bit more gold, whether it's into the Shy or specifically probably Light, right, at this point in the Zeri. Keeping some more resources as look at how far ahead he is of everyone in this game, Xiaohu. He's up 1k on Scout, and everyone else is basically trailing behind with the exception of Light.
Yeah, it does feel like this is the Xiaohu show, and, you know, it is kind of a... It is a, you know, again, it's kind of the way we've seen a lot of people take down Weibo is that, you know, they focus in on the Shy. They make sure that he is not having a good time. And look, I'll be real. Sometimes that's too heavy for Xiaohu to carry into these mid to late game team fights. But coming into this one now, the Shy will have his first item completed, and we will see the Nashor's Tooth as well for Xiaohu. This is an opportunity here for Weibo to maybe go for a little bit of engage, but they're missing some key flashes here on some key members. Not having the Leona flash, not having the Cassante flash makes getting those kind of snap engages that a little bit harder.
Just a little bit, right? Chris was always still going to have the Solar Flare, so he can engage at range if he finds the opportunity. Specifically, I imagine he's going to be angling for Scout, right? The fact that Gala has flash and cleanse, has LNG, a bit of poke damage.
Oh, getting onto the Shy again, who is just being melted. Oh my god, he will have a TP, so it's not all doom and gloom here for Weibo. They should be able to get the reset, but now Xiaohu, I bet you he'd wish he had a crown of the Shadow Queen for that Shock Blast, but he is moving in towards this mid lane. They're going to try to drop down this Rift-Held and cut off the wave. A TP is going to be coming in here from the Shy as Xiaohu looks for a reset of his own. Chris taking all that damage means that he's not in a position to try and fight for this one here. Light should be able to kill off Shirley. Because she will not get to do her favorite thing, but Hong wants her to do it. She wants to get the headbutt off, but now Tarzan getting caught out here by Xiaohu. Finally, they get the Rift-Held to go down, but here we go. Whoa! Wei got blown up to pieces. But this damage from the Zeri and from Xiaohu, who jumps in and melts him down. Xiaohu is the carry of this team. Xiaohu is the heart and soul, and him and Light will guide Weibo to a win in this fight.
Shurima is the shining light for Weibo this game and the series so far. Weibo, excellent turnaround, right? Considering the fact that they took so long to engage, and when Weiwei finally did go in, I think it was onto Zuka, he just got removed surgically by LNG, but they win the team fight nonetheless. And Weibo will pick up the dragon, stop the snowballing soul. And again, LNG, that entire sequence was looking so good because they were allowed so much time for so much poke. Then the engage finally comes through. LNG looking again for the Shy, and then for Weiwei. Weiwei goes in from 1.2k to just dead. That's brutal, but then, you know, Xiaohu goes in, finds Tarzan, no flash, immediately blown up, flash away from to the skies from Scout, and Light then follows through with a flash of his own, picks up 2 kills this team fight. We said how, you know, when it's just one member with all this gold, not only does Xiaohu have to perform, but he has to make sure that he's not being caught out. Now Light has also been brought into the fold of those 2 additional kills. He sits at 2 items, and now it's another problem that LNG have to solve. If Weibo allow them to, you know, kind of sit there and poke, feels good, but how many times are you going to see Weibo realistically do that again when they've got the Viom and when they've got Leona sat there?
So this is the thing. That was a 4v5 in favor of LNG. Leona went back. She went back to base. They actually did that all in a 4v5 without their, what you would argue is like primary engage after Weiwei was just surgically deleted and no longer allowed to play the game. But This is a great, yeah, not only that, but you get the kills, you get the gold, you get the dragon. A Hex Dragon for something like a Zerion and a Zir is god tier. You get so much ability haste in Weiwei. Oh, I love this. There's no defensive vision here for LNG, and they've got the Gwen on the bot side. It will be a couple of seconds before they can go for it. Scout thinking about where he's going to go. Now they're going to find him straight away. They jump in, they burst him down. Scout will die for a 4th time in this game. I don't know why the Shy thought he could maybe go in on top of this one here, and he's going to have to use the all-out now. Hong getting jumped in, going to be turned into mincemeat. The Gwen has decided I'm in PvE. I'm taking a turret because even if I TP, it ain't going to change anything. That could be Baron.
Yeah, Baron attempt is so likely here. Scout has teleport. He's up in 20. Hung, 20, no teleport. Looks like they will start this one up. Shy's going to hang around as well. They have to get something. And it has to be magical from LNG. Teleport's going to come through.
Here we go.
Flank on the side. Here we go, Baron.
Chris. He's going to have himself a god tier play. He can flash over, but the Emperor's Divide stops the Maokai. But Zika is massive. And Zika can put in the work. Weibo, you bit off more than you could chew. And LNG strike back swift and fierce.
Swift and fierce. And the strike was hefty from LNG. Weibo, like you say, too much, right? You understand maybe if you look to get Zika's teleport, it's all right, but the fact that you then get engaged on, right? You allow yourself to step far enough forward. And the fact that Zika is so powerful at this stage in the game means that you can't stop him. Not enough CC in the world, considering you use those ultimates for the pick that got you here in the first place. Gives LNG the Baron and them control of this game now for the next 3 minutes.
This Gwen is becoming a massive problem. Let's have a look at this one here, because again, great for Weiwei to skirt around all the vision, found the Jace, and just knew that they could burst him out straight away.
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a lovely flank and great game sense to just cue the bush, whether or not he's looking for him or not. As teleport comes in with Zika, and at this point, this is what I'm saying, like, why have we like stepped so far out of the pit? Just commit to the, forget that, commit to the Baron, kill it.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Again, it's just like 2 different decisions being made. Weiwei was still on the Baron, half the team wasn't. Chris was looking for a flash over the wall and then just didn't.
Oh, so awkward. Oh, hello.
We're going to see another fight, though. They're going to try and come in here and try and commit everything onto Zika, who immediately goes into stasis, and Zika survives. Oh, Lord, that's not a good place to be. You need to get away from all this poke coming out from Gala and Jace. You need to get out of this chokehold, but they are getting burnt down. They are just fish in a barrel, and LNG have got themselves a shotgun. Easy as you like, and Weibo, they're starting to panic now, Jamada.
It's 12 gauge, and it's pump action, and Weibo, they're getting hit by every single shell right now. This tower's going to go down. Baron's still up for a minute and a half, but the health bars of the important members of LNG a little bit low, so it seems like perhaps a reset is in favor for what they want to do. Go back towards that dragon in 40 seconds time. Happy with the structures that they have picked up here. Weibo, we kind of like take a breath for a moment, right? Kind of take stock of where we're at the game. The items, you know, this is a pretty heavy 4K gold lead, all things considered, right? You can see that Zika's up an item. The same thing for Gala. Scout's very close as well to his 3rd item, whilst other members kind of waiting for that second one to come in as disengage. I mean, again, Darkness Selection really good. The Shroud, I think, blocks a fair amount of damage also from, I want to say, Light. Zika's flash then is very well timed. The dash and Maokai ultimate, the re-engage, the AoE damage in general is just so high from all of these members of LNG that Weibo just do not have an answer, and that's the big issue as another Shock Blast lands and connects onto Weiwei. With this composition of Weibo, you really have to just break apart LNG's ability to poke. But the issue is, if you dive, you're diving into Alistar, Maokai, and at times Gwen. You're just going to get minced. So it feels like a very difficult conundrum to find yourself in and actually try and navigate out of. But if you can find a fight when maybe Zika's not there, it's favorable at, you know, absolute best that the setup works out. But even then, you're going to struggle as look at how powerful Scout is. Half-healthing Light. Xiaohu, the focus as he picks up that Zhonya's. He's going to have to find a miracle fight relatively soon. Otherwise, LNG, with this suffocating chokehold that they're imposing on Weibo, will slowly look to close this game number 2 out and give us a series.
We saw a point now for LNG and Weibo. I mean, look, they went with the Cassante so early, and they have been heavily punished. He is level 13. He just about has himself an item and a half. Like, this Cassante is not the front line you think it to be. A couple of piercing arrows, 1 or 2 accelerated shock blasts. He's he's gonna die. Like, he can't stand up to anyone on the side of LNG in terms of like raw stats just because of the damage they're putting out. And I think that props are due. They went with the Maokai on the side of LNG. Weibo said, no, we're getting the K'Sante. And immediately we saw Zika say, no, give me the Gwen. I know I can win this matchup so hard that they will never blind the K'Sante again. And that's exactly what's happened.
Yeah, the priority around the K'Sante seems a little bit strange, but it's not, you know, uncharacteristic from Weibo in that same breath, right? And when I say strange, kind of context of series, would you not rather, you know, blind something like the Renekton, which was up and available?
Oh, Gala. He flashes and has to use the stopwatch. Weiwei gets himself over the wall. He should be fine. Enough cooldown in that Q to get him back again. So I'm going to take a fair chunk on the backside of that one there. But no flash, no teleport being used. And can he get to the blast cone? He's going to have to use it just a little bit more distance. He's still running. He should be fine. I don't think he's really going to get taken down here. But Hong is on the backside of this one. And they're still pushing onto this. This could be an overextension here from LNG. You haven't got the support here. And there's a TP coming in as well from Xiaohu. They're going to have to commit the TP here from Zika. As Scout realizes he has to put in some artillery fire to make sure they don't get caught. Flash in. Scout flashes away though and doesn't get all out back in. They send a blade on top of him. Scout is the target and Scout is dead. Now Light jumps on the Gala who has no summoners. It's Zika versus Weibo. Can he make it work? Get out of your shroud. You're not allowed to play this game anymore. Xiaohu refuses to let Weibo let go of what they have.
Xiaohu's King's Rule puts an end to Zika's play here as a little bit awkward from Weiwei. Xiaohu's going to show up. He will clean up this mess. Find out the remaining members of LNG here. As
I love this. No, I love this. They're staggering his death timer. They're staggering his death timer so he can't join them.
As much as they can, right? I mean, Baron's up in 50 seconds time. They're not going to end the game, but the fact that Weiwei is likely going to be able to base, and they're going to really take their time about this. Guys, kill it. Kill it. It's fine. 40 seconds now. The death time will be about 35. And then LNG will be working with our support. So here we go. Death time up 36. I was 1 second off. I played this game way too much.
The fact that you knew the time almost perfectly is incredible in its own right. But I mean, Weibo smashing back in that fight. And again, Xiaohu is the king of this team. And he is just doing so well to make sure this team can't lose.
Yeah, exactly. And now Weibo have the opportunity to operate this map in a 5v4 and it's support as well. You remember he's on with the wards. So LNG will really be walking into this one blind. This has been such a back and forth game. And it feels like it is Zeka versus Xiaohu and Light. And a little bit of poke help from Gala and Scout. Artillery is what's helping out Zeka on some of these dives. When the Baron started up, it's being burst so quickly. I don't think they're going to get in time. It has to be a fight after the fact.
Yeah, they're going to throw out the solar flare to slow them down. Baron secured, given over to the side of Weibo. They will throw in a fair bit of damage onto Chris, but again, not an ideal target. Xiaohu now stopping the Alistair from having any kind of fight in this, or any kind of say in this fight. And Weibo are right back in the driver's seat. They'll have the Baron now for 2.5 minutes. They'll have the Dragon spawning in a minute 30. And LNG, they got to find a way to make these fights work. They can't get picked off like that again.
Yeah, and I have to say on the back end, excellent selection there from Xiaohu, understanding that the only way that they can really end up losing any members is if Hung finds that flank angle, just cuts him off with the soldiers. So let's get a look at this, because Tarzan comes in from the Hex Gate. Everyone's obviously chasing onto Weiwei, and it's a very, very extended chase at that, right? But the Shy does so much work. It's saved, I feel like, by Hung. But then look at this. Finds his way on Scout, Q flash, ultimate. Yes, it doesn't go the way that he wants it, but at the end of the day, still stays alive, and Scout is just basically dead as soon as that ultimate gets pressed. Then it's Zucker versus the world, as Gala also found himself caught out. He tried his best. He's only able to find one kill. Great Empress of to pull him out of the Shroud as well. And then, of course, in the extended, Hung's death timer was laid out for a very, very long time. Now Weibo calls Baron as that Chains of Corruption just flies wide. Means that the siege is on.
And I mean, look, like, Light, I don't think has died in game 1 or 2. He is deathless in this series so far, and this Zeri just seems to be the key. You know, we all thought she was dead and buried, you know, never to be seen again, but this Zeri has been so fantastic at just making sure that, you know, the rest of Weibo can focus topside, they can focus mid lane, and not have to worry about bot lane because she's self-peeling, she's self-sustaining.
So impressive, right? Even though Zeri has certainly fallen out of favor in the current map, Light is navigating it still with excellence, and LNG now with that one inhibitor down, have to focus on the side lane defense. Weibo with this Baron up for another 60 seconds. A lot of options on the table. I feel like you wouldn't mind just going back to the Dragon. Xiaohu Well, Zeka, goodbye, friend. It was nice knowing you.
Yeah, that's the carry. He needs to survive. He knows it, and they're gonna get jumped on top of him. That auto attack was unfortunate. Now Zeka turning it around onto Weiwei. Xiaohu chasing him down though, hunting him with his soldiers. And this is the thing, you're wasting time here as Zeka. The fact that he got out is huge.
Dragon. What LNG gonna do? But nothing. They're turning around. The Shy will go on a bit of a hunting trip, but unfortunately will not come back with any treasures. Weibo can secure this dragon, can stop LNG from picking up Soul. And again, despite the Baron time kind of being burned off by that chase there onto Zeka, at the end of the day, you know, Baron's not going to be up on the map now for another 3 minutes. And realistically, Weibo can just go and siege on the bottom side, on the top side, whichever side of the map they want. Whilst this mid lane is pushing in these supers, so life will feel good. Continue to suffocate LNG out. LNG have to try and break this cycle somehow.
Gala.
Oh,
He's not going to get caught out, though. That's some key ultimate off the backside of that one here. Gala does have flash. It means he has to get away from this Cassante. Hong going to do the exact same thing, but Bane of Corruption does land here onto Weiwei. That's a lot of your key engage tool would be dead for a hell of a long time. You would love to try and take him out of this, but LNG, they're not dead and buried just yet. This game is still very, very close. It is only a couple of hundred in favor of Weibo. 3 dragons still to LNG, and this Gwen, as we have seen, needs to be respected.
Yes, it does. All the way to a Banshee's Veil as well, and the amount of, you know, it's predominantly Xiaohu dealing the damage right now, making his way towards the death cap. And like, just by default, even though, you know, Zeri is still very much an AD champion, has enough mixed in magic damage that and she's actually going to keep Zeka alive for a considerable amount of time. So, saw there, 14,000 total gold in the back pocket of Zeka, trailing Xiaohu by about 700. So, realistically, I think once the death cap, it's so far away, though. Before Zeka's going to get there. Maybe even a Void Staff wouldn't be too bad to cut through the front line even faster than you have been. Either way, that's who you have to have your eyes on, right? That's the point here for LNG. So much of this is on Zeka, and then Scout, Gala, the poke has to be consistent and it has to find its way onto Xiaohu. Otherwise, it feels like Weibo will just cruise to a Game 2 victory. Xiaohu just picked up the death cap in his inventory as well, so things go from bad to worse. As, again, Ashin, if we sit in this kind of, you know, purgatory of LNG sit far enough back away where they can, you know, throw out the maximum range skill shots, life is navigatable at best, right? But Weibo will eventually pull the trigger, and they're just realistically waiting for this Baron to spawn up in a minute's time.
For the Baron, top side belongs to LNG. You can see that wave pushing in favor of them. They weren't able to cut off the wave in mid lane, as it has got super minions in it. Bot lane pushing in favor of Weibo for the moment. Xiaohu thinking about something here, but not going to go for it just yet. They need to cut off this wave, or it could just be the game dead and buried straight away. So you're going to have to try and do something here as LNG to try and make sure you don't just have the minions march in and end it all.
God, no way. All right, the bases are going to come through. I mean, Weibo also seem a little bit uncertain about how they want to navigate that, because you have to remember they also, like, there's a lot of vision that has been taken control of by LNG, which it looks like they're trying to retake, but oh my god, they're checking into territory that they don't even know is LNG's.
Oh, they're going to look for Weiwei! He went too far forward and he is killed off. Chris passed the flash, otherwise the Nature's Grasp would have get him. Xiaohu is thinking about it. He knows that he can maybe get a god tier play. And that minion in the super minion in the mid wave is still going. Scout TP'd on the backside of this one here. Baron hasn't spawned yet. It's 10 seconds, and you can see the TPs are still available here for someone like the Shy. He could TP into the base and look to end it. Xiaohu's moving into it. They're going to try and delay them and end the game, but the Gwen's already got it. The Shy is now lost and all on his own. Scout's going to flash in and burn him down. No way for him to react. It's a minute without the Shy. The Baron shall be started. LNG are crawling back into this.
Nocturne away. Weibo, they have to make this one work. 3 versus 5. Xiaohu has to put on a show, but they're just not willing to commit. They know if they dive further forward, we'll just give over their lives. So the Baron will be handed to LNG. Now all of a sudden the game, which looked certain for Weibo to close out, is back on a knife's edge. So much of it on the back of Zeka, but that was an excellent set of decisions, and it's just a big mental game, right? On that retreat from the base when the wave was cut off, Weibo decided that it wouldn't be the right call to go towards the base, right? Just said, you know what, let's go and reclaim this vision. LNG read them. As soon as they see they're not in the base, like, okay, well, they must be taking vision back. We know where everyone is going to be. Let's make this play work. And it gives them just about everything they need to now turn this game back in Weibo's face.
Barrel down mid lane. It's going to be difficult for Xiaohu to defend this by himself, but having the rest of his team kind of shadowing in the sides, make sure he doesn't go down too easily. We'll see, kind of final items being picked up here. Death Cap going to be the last thing here for Zika. I mean, who stops him? He'll just literally, for lack of a better term, he will cut through them like paper, as scissors tend to do. But it's just going to be so easy for him if he's given like unrestricted access to the backline.
Scissors are very, very sharp. Zika's ability to get onto the backline has been sharper. LNG in the river, got the Maokai, they're the ones with the poke. Weibo have to engage onto this at the end of the day. Dragon spawning. How quickly will they burst through this, and how quickly will Weibo get hit? Yeah, I mean, they have to, but I mean, look how quickly that dragon is dead. It's gone. Soul's over.
It's gone. They know they commit to it because they saw Wei. There's going to be him going over the side of this one here. Maybe looking for something with the Hex Gates, but not going to be able to confirm it.
They can cut them off. This is what they're trying to do here. So they're trying to cut them off, push them down towards the
bottom side. But you have Baron recalls.
Yeah, I mean, Baron recall is still going to make this too awkward. And there you go. They crashed away. If LNG were, again, it's such a weird stalemate, right? Because LNG have a wave of Baron, but they don't want to, not base and then have Weibo push up the mid lane.
Yeah.
Plus, they've probably got a little bit of gold to spend as well. So everyone takes a breath. Everyone resets. Baron's up for another 60 seconds. I'm not sure how much LNG will really be able to get out of this unless they just kind of air at me, run it down mid. Get this inhibitor. Either way, right now, with the soul, they're going to feel very, very powerful.
And look, for Weibo, we're at the super late game. Your Zeri will do damage. Your Zera is so big. But it just depends on how long you can survive. It depends on if you can deal or find an opportunity to find a fight where, you're not allowing this Varus and Jace poke to hit you, constantly, consistently. But I think it's just going to come down to it. I don't feel like you need to defend. I feel like you need to defend at this next tower. I don't think Nexus turrets are going to be enough because you're just going to keep taking too much poke.
Exactly. Weibo has to engage, but it's so... Again, the adaptation from game number 1 to game number 2 has been so excellent from LNG in terms of composition and theme. If Weibo go in, they just get kind of one shot. Here you go, zoning ultimates come through. Tower's dead. And even if they don't get the inhibitor, damage is still relatively done. 2 inhibs open.
How do you approach this?
I just don't know if you can. I think the fact of the matter is, when you have a composition which is so well suited to, defending and standing its ground, best you can hope for is trying to attack it from multiple angles, but the issue is, who do you send on those angular flanks, right? If it's Wei, his ultimate is gonna lock him in place. If it's Xiaohu, then he's not DPSing front to back. You can argue sacrificing Crisp is probably the best way to go about it, but at the end of the day, he's still only just gonna be locking down 1, maybe 2 members at best. Maybe it's this. Maybe if LNG try and reclaim vision a little bit haphazardly, they can find themselves being caught out here, but will LNG really afford Weibo that kind of opportunity? I feel like the answer is no. Objectives, both the Uber ones off the map for at least 2 minutes, so it's just going to be about battling over these waves. Weibo a little bit split, but it's still LNG who can run up the middle of the map right now if they really want to. They can leave Weibo hanging here.
Wait.
Left come through.
We take a breath. Everyone's kind of just getting themselves as topped up as they possibly can. I would imagine a final item to come in for either Zika or any of the people there would be, kind of the thing that tilts this one in their favor. A Death Cap. I would actually expect Gala to go towards a Edge of Night. Get that spell shield out so he knows he's got that little bit of extra safety. You've got multiple GAs available. There's 3 Zonyas. There's a stopwatch. There's so much happening to kind of, keep yourselves alive. And the funny thing is, the longer this game goes, the less and less this gold means. It means the Shy can get up to level 18. He can get up to his 3rd item and become the tank he's always wanted to be in this game. So this isn't a bad situation for Weibo, and it's 2.5 minutes till the Elder. It's a minute until the Baron. For the moment, Weibo are happy to let this game to continue to scale.
All right, Weibo fans, specifically Cadril, Gala.
I was just about to say, you mean Cadril's stream.
Yeah. Gala has picked up
I'm an I Will Dominate fan myself, personally.
I respect that.
Get the
Gala's picked up a Collector instead of that Edge of Night. So Wei can still press his Archeon. Alright. It is very much a target which they would love to get on top of. The issue is, again, even Scout has scaled to a point where he's going to deal a lot of damage. So if you do try and kill Gala, then you have to worry about Zeka. If you kill Zeka, Gala now has, I guess, a collector to deal even more damage. So it's a bit of a catch-22. Zeka's gone towards the Shadow Flame, so I think he just acknowledged that now with the Baron coming up, he's not going to have enough time to get towards that death cap. I would much rather just have the immediate power now. Seems to be the case here. As like you mentioned as well, loads of items coming in, pots as well across the board for some members as Chains Corruption.
Oh, Chris! Yeah, he had to go golden there, otherwise he was dead. He might still be dead with this poke coming out. He's going to have to reset. That's no longer available. No stopwatch here for the Leona. Could be massive. Gala taking a fair chunk himself as well as Light. As everyone starts to back away, we're getting ever closer towards this Elder, and it looks like LNG are kind of saying, look, we can't risk going for this Baron flip, because if we do, and we don't get it, we give up the Elder as well. So they're just going to try and control this mid lane and come back out to this fight. Are we actually just going to get to 42 minutes into this game and just flip it over the big purple worm and maybe the massive dragon? Oh, the Shy! He's caught! He's dead! And the Shy will not be able to help out his team. Now you can see Light, he was caught up in those vines. And that loses his cleanse as well. One small misstep means that LNG break open the game.
Turn away, fraud supporters. The Shy may have just gifted LNG a lot in this game. The Baron at the very least. Will it also be the Elder is the question. Recalls will come through. Let's see what will be picked up on the side of LNG. Weibo have to do everything and everything else to make sure they try and lock down this area of the map as much as they can. I mean, sure, the Shy has teleport, but you feel like LNG will just be able to kind of brute force their way through. They still have to be a little bit meticulous about the approach. You don't really want to risk getting one shot, but at the end of the day, I feel like you're strong enough. There you go. Slide up by Weibo. Okay.
This is a risk. 5 seconds till the Shy even comes in, which means it's another 4 seconds until he's able to get the teleport out. They're going to try and jump in, flash in over the wall to try and make sure they can't get this. They're flipping it. Wei goes into GA. Zik is trying to just burn through absolutely everybody. However, Xiaohu is still putting in work. Xiaohu's going to try and turn this one back, but the Elder is secured, and I don't think Xiaohu's going to have enough of it. He's trying his best. Xiaohu, you Emperor among men, trying his absolute hardest, but his heart's just not strong enough. The Elder's Dragon Roar, and that is LNG bringing us to 1-1.
A god amongst kings, Xiaohu was trying to be, but LNG are just too damn strong. We said it so many times. You kill off Scout, then you're worrying about Zika and Gala. And every single iteration of that equation, Zika, they always used to say, never run with scissors. And he's running straight towards the Nexus to give us a game 3 on even footing.
1-1. What a game 2 to set us to 1-1. It looked like Weibo had everything set up, ready to go. It looked like they knew how they wanted to win it, but then one small misstep after another. It was one catch, one kill here at 30 minutes. Okay, then we were going to 35. Okay, now we're waiting till this time. Little small mistakes that just dragged out